All right, we're back talking about the deeds and with the, so what you have so far to catch up on last season, to catch up, general warranty deed, 5 warranties. Special warranty deed has 2 warranties. Bargain and sale has 0 warranty, 1 implication. The 4th one over there back at the 4th bullet point actually says, I, Raymond Modular, remise, release, and quit claim. All right, pet peeve number 1 in the real estate world for me. This is pet peeve number 1, and I number my pet peeves, all right? Here it is. The word, folks, is quit claim. It is not a quit claim deed. It is not quick claim deed. It's a quit claim. You look at me like your pony just got shot. There's a CK on one and a T on the other. Quit claim. As in, I quit, which is where it comes from. Not quick claim. I had a guy call me once and goes, hey, you got a quit claim deed? I said, I don't even think they make those. And he's like, well, what kind of instructor are you? You don't know that, and hung up on me. So I called him back. It's a good thing about caller ID now. Now, here's the funny part. Quit claim deeds happen quickly. But it's not a quit claim. It's a quit claim. A quit claim deed only transfers the grantor's interest, whatever it is, to the person accepting the quit claim. So I can quit claim my house at 13th and LaSalle. Bryce, you want it? I'll quit claim it to you. $1,000, dude, right now. House in 13th and LaSalle. You don't want it? How about $100? Really? For $100, gone. Forgot to tell you the mortgage is due, the taxes are 2 years past due, there's a mechanics lien on it, the HOA's due. Now, all of those are now yours.
But are you still on the hook for the mortgage with a quit claim deed?
With a what deed?
The quit claim deed.
Am I on the mortgage with a quit claim deed? Probably, but we're not 100% sure. Depends what the mortgage is, and we'll talk about those. Because there are some that may not be. Let's do it the other way. Forget the mortgage. HOA's dues, 2 years behind in taxes. The mechanics liens are all on it. Those are all now yours. And the house, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, the house is actually on fire right now. So whatever my interest is in the property, I transfer it through a quit claim to the person taking that quit claim. All right? So if that's the case, then why do we even have them? For girlfriends and boyfriends. That one, it's not the answer I'm looking for. It's not for girlfriends and boyfriends, but you may be close. I'll sell you for a quick sale. I told you I'd sell you my 13th in LaSalle right now for a quick sale. We'll be done in 2 minutes. You got a $100 bill? Give it to me.
Well, you don't have to go through a court to do it.
You don't have to go through a court?
Really.
I've never went through a court for a sale in my life. You guys are missing the point here. Why would you not take my house at 13th and LaSalle, Miguel, for $1,000 through a quit claim deed? Why can't you protect yourself? What are you missing? No, don't look in there. It's not in there. I'm trying to get you to say something. You don't have the slightest idea what my ownership interest is, do you? Maybe I'm lying to you. I may not even own 13th and LaSalle. So you have no concept of what my ownership interest is. So you, therefore, would not take a quitclaim deed from me. So then who would? The bank.
Someone who owns the property with you.
There we go. Somebody who knows my interest in the property. Like
Husband or wife.
the soon-to-be ex-wife, right? We most often use quitclaim deeds to transfer ownership between people that understand what the interest was. Husband and wife getting divorced, first thing the wife's attorney usually says is to the husband, you got to quitclaim your interest to the wife. Well, why would the wife take it? Because she knows what the husband's interest was. She was with him when she bought the house. They bought it as a general warranty deed. Business partners, family members. Quitclaim deeds work quickly, like you said, Miguel, and they are good for a quick transfer. But typically, they're only used between people that understand the ownership. Because literally, if you'd give me a $100 bill, I bet I can write you a quitclaim deed right now quickly and transfer my ownership to it. Guess what my ownership interest is actually in 13th and LaSalle? None, because I already sold the property about 2 years ago. That's why I'm telling you, you wouldn't do that, because you don't know my ownership interest. Husbands and wives getting divorced do, business partners splitting up do, family members, things like that. So a quitclaim deed does have its purpose. It kind of reduces the red tape, if you want to think of it that way, between people that know what's going on. All right? The other thing a quitclaim can do for you is this thing called a cloud on the title. A cloud on the title is when something is maybe not 100% correct, but you're pretty sure. For instance, if I bought this house under the name Raymond D. Modulin, and then I signed the deed when I sold it as Raymond Modulin, is it potential that's a different person? Yeah, one's got a middle initial, the other doesn't. That might be a cloud. Somebody may go, we could use a quitclaim to do that. Fix it. Maybe they misspelled my name. They put Modgelin. Now I've got a problem because I can't legally sign that. That's not my name. So we could fix it through a quitclaim. You could, what you were saying, Angela, is correct too. You could bring someone onto your property quickly. Like if you married and you wanted to put your wife on the property, you could quitclaim it from Bob to Bob and Betty, and now the new owners are Bob and Betty. That would work great because Bob knows his own ownership. All right? Sometimes married people, here's a question. You're the title expert. Woman gets married. I have seen them make them sign both their names. Mary Smith, formerly known as Mary Jones. I have seen quitclaims go from Mary Smith to Mary Jones, and I have seen a form called not one and the same. Yeah, where there's, hey, this is me, but it's a different name. So you could use that. Those are clouds as well on the title. All right? So what you have are those 4 title or 4 deeds. Think of them again, like I said, in a hierarchy. 5 guarantees or covenants, 2 covenants, no covenants, 1 implication, and then the last one is virtually nothing other than transferring your interest, whatever it is. Okay? So if you flip back to page 89, let's finish up talking about the rest of the clauses that are on the deed. There is what they call a habendum clause. Habendum clause. This habendum clause is actually in the wedding vows. It explains the degree of ownership. And typically it starts with the paragraph called to have and to hold. So go home tonight and tell your spouse you own them through the habendum clause. See how far that gets you. I own you. Well, yeah. If you want to look at it that way. Oh, one other thing. The granting clause would also have, I'm going to back up just a second. Remember we talked about all those fee simple defeasibles, like fee simple determinable, fee simple condition subsequent? That would be in the granting clause as well. If you're transferring something less than fee simple absolute, you would also in the granting clause define life estate or whatever, okay? Because the granting clause is the degree of the property that you're transferring. So if I'm transferring fee simple condition subsequent, it would be inside of that granting clause. And then the limitation on whatever I'm putting on it would be there. Got to have a place for the farmers to always sell your fruit, all right? The habendum clause is the have and to hold. It's the degree. Right below that would be what they call the exceptions, or the legal description. For all you that enjoyed last episode's northwest quadrant of the northwest quadrant of the, that's where this would be. Inside of this section would have the legal description inside of it. The legal description has to be written in such a way that the surveyor, a surveyor can identify the property. And it can be meets and bounds, it can be the government rectangular, it can be the lot and block. You guys can actually put the meets and bounds inside of the lot and block, by the way, or inside of the government rectangular. We didn't talk about that. Remember that whole property against the Red Skull Creek, down to the creek and follow the creek? That could all be inside of the northwest quadrant of the northwest quadrant. If it's a really weird piece of property, all of that would be in here in this legal description. One of the other things you would have are any exceptions or reservations, like builder's deeds or CCRs, or this is where they would list like easements. If you had a power line easement, it would be in here so that the new owner knows. Remember, I told him I'm removing all the encumbrances. Thank you. Whoever said that, my mind went blank. And here's would be the ones that I couldn't remove. I got a power line easement, I got a shared driveway, I got all that. Then there would be the signature of the grantor, i.e. the seller. That signature would then have to be acknowledged. Acknowledged. It is acknowledged by a person that has been given what we call a notary. A notary is a person who would acknowledge that signature. Now, the notary that acknowledges the signature is not attesting at all to the validity of the document. They are not an attorney. They don't read the document. None of that. All the notary is doing is saying two things. Yes, Raymond has presented sufficient ID so that I believe it truly is Raymond Modulin signing this, and he is doing it of his own free will. I could write down that pink elephants fly at midnight and get it notarized. All right? They don't look at the document and go, well, that's not legal. They don't do that. All they say is I show them my ID and say, hey, I'm Raymond Modulin, I want to sign that. They sign it, then they stamp it, and that's what allows it to get recorded so that there's a proper recording that somebody said, hey, yeah, it wasn't just some Joe Blow who's forged Raymond's signatures now trying to record the sale because it wasn't notarized. A lot of times we may use what's called a power of attorney or a POA. POA allows you to sign for somebody. And we have this thing called a general power of attorney, like most people do eventually for their parents. I can enter into documents and sell stuff. Sometimes there's a specific power of attorney. You guys as agents may end up doing this. I've done it probably 4 or 5 times where I have actually signed for my client. That was an option I put out there. was, hey, you don't want to go to closing? Give me power of attorney. I'll show up. And I've done it. Typically, they do it only on the seller side because the buyer side, most lenders want the actual mortgagor to be the one signing, not a power of attorney. So on the seller side, it happens 90% of all the times it ever happens, it's on the seller side because always signs 2 or 3 different things. And that was an option I presented, was to do that. One last thing in this section I want to talk about. When does ownership really pass? When does the diamond go boop? Very good for reading ahead, yes. When the deed gets delivered and accepted. It has to be accepted by the buyer. You are going to hear a lot of dumb answers out there by people that say stuff. Well, when the check clears, when they pay me, when it gets recorded, when I get to the house for the first time. No. When they get done at the title company and the lady comes back, or the gentleman, and says, congratulations on your purchase, and hands all of the documents to the buyer, and they reach up and grab that packet of documents, with which the deed was one of them, boop. Done. Property's transferred. It's now mine. All right? So I take the deed. That's why I don't play basketball. Certainly. What's the 3-day thing? The 3-day thing is after 2 days, there's a third day. I don't know what you mean. What, the 3 day? You mean like the 3-day right of rescission? Yes. That's a 3-day right of rescission to get you to change your mind that comes from RESPA. But the purchase of a single-family residential property does not fall under RESPA. All right, sorry. It does fall under RESPA. Doesn't fall under the 3-day right. So the second you sign and it's delivered, it's gone. Now, a refinance does. If you refinance your property, and you're, especially for those of you that want to take money out, I want to pull money out and refinance, you actually wait 3 days because RESPA has a 3-day right of rescission that allows you to change your mind under buyer's remorse. But the actual conveyance of a residential property with a first lien does not fall under that. That's the 3-day right of rescission. So title is said, or deed is said to pass upon the deliverance and acceptance. I had one a number of years ago. Sellers went in at 3 o'clock, or at 9 a.m. And this is actually what bothered me, Josh, because I keep always remembering this story. Our client, the buyer, were going in at 3 p.m. to sign. House got hit by lightning about 1 p.m. and burned to the ground. Yeah, no, not kidding at all. The title company calls and goes, dude, no closing. And I'm like, oh, crap, man, I've already spent the commission. It's a typical thing. Can we close tomorrow? And they start laughing. They're like, no. I'm like, what happened? House burned down. I'm like, you're kidding, right? Nope. House got hit by lightning, burned to the ground. Wow. So the sellers had signed all of their documents. Buyers had not accepted the deed yet, so it was still the seller's house. I actually had the other agent, the listing agent, call me and go, dude, if we go ahead and go through with it, we'll give you the check for the insurance. You can build a bigger house. I'm like, yeah, I don't think our lender's going to allow us to take possession of a bonfire. All right, so it's delivered and accepted. Boy, we went really long on that one. Let's end this one.